listen. There's no need to watch the video, just listen to the audio. Today I will be talking about whether private security should use the exact equipment that law enforcement has. We'll talk about the pros and the cons. This week, guys, I'm super busy. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'll be teaching a low light course. I just realized that I am now officially a California Post low light instructor. I submitted my Connecticut low light instructor course, my 2-day course, to Post. They allowed me to teach 3 days of low light combat shooting. So now I guess I'm a low light California Post low light instructor. I didn't even know that they exist, but I guess they do. Anyhow, in preparing for my classes and other classes, we're gonna be very busy this year. Our department will be transitioning to the red dot system on the pistols for those who want it. So I got to put on a red dot transition course, which is 8 hours. So this year's very busy. In preparing for these courses, there's a lot of research that I've been doing. And this research, it's going to benefit you guys. So the question is, should security copy what law enforcement has? There's the pros and the cons. First off, there's tons of pros, okay? And that being that a lot of law enforcement agencies, they have a budget, right? But it's more than what private security companies' budget is for T&E. Most private security companies are your mom and pop operations where it's basically owner operator with a handful of security officers, and that's it. They're going to basically say, hey, you know what, you can carry whatever optic you want, handcuffs you want, just show up on time to your post. That's realistically the picture in the United States and elsewhere. Having said that, I know that there's a lot of gear guys that are on this channel. You guys want to know, hey, what's the best equipment? Guys, because of the budgets that law enforcement has, a lot of their equipment goes through extensive T&E. That's testing and evaluation. Look at the FN 509. Is it RDLE? Anyhow, the LAPD did extensive testing with that pistol, and they determined that pistol is going to be the official pistol, I think 2 years ago, okay? Have I ever shot an FN 509 series pistols? Never. I've never shot an FN 509 series, not even the 5.7, nothing. But if I was interested in getting the 509, I can feel better about my purchase because I know that the Los Angeles Police Department put that gun through a rigorous test. And it's also adopted by a lot of other law enforcement agencies that have what we think is an unlimited budget. Look at your RMR optic, your red dot optic, right? Oh my goodness, has been extensive testing on that. Tons of law enforcement agencies have done extensive testing, and that is the official optic. So if you're hell-bent on purchasing maybe like a Viper, right? Or a Burris. We'll say a Burris, the Burris, okay? And you're wondering if this is a good optic for duty, for private security. I would argue no. I would argue hell to the no, because there's been some departments that have done testing on that optic, and it's failed numerous occasions. In particular, Aaron Cowan from Sage Dynamics has tested the Burris models, and he's found them not to be reliable, not to be not duty rated after failing numerous drop tests and after failing numerous evaluations in his extensive evaluation process. So that's an optic that you don't want to have for duty purposes. Home defense, I mean, remember, that's your optic that could save your life. For me, I'd rather pick I pick the best. But for you, you know, if you feel like you can't afford an RMR, then by all means, you do you, right? Handcuffs. Okay, you might hear of the latest handcuff. We'll call it ABC Handcuff Solutions. Okay, you see it advertised all over the internet. You see commercials about it. Should I get it? Well, the question is, has there been extensive T&E with law enforcement agencies? Okay, guys, stick to the name brand equipment. Oh my goodness, I'm passing the Weapon X security vehicle. Let's see their lead. What? There's nobody in it. What the hell? You know, that's a good thing though. That's a good thing that there's nobody in it, because maybe he's doing the rounds. I'll check again tomorrow. All right, guys. Sorry for being sidetracked here. Okay, so handcuffs, guys, stick to the name brands. Peerless and the Smith & Wesson. I hate Smith & Wesson. I prefer Peerless. Okay, that's what I want to say a good number of law enforcement agencies have is Peerless, but it's kind of mixed. Okay, but I'm only gonna have those two. I'm not gonna buy Uncle Tom's handcuff because it's on sale for $10.99 on Amazon. Again, it hasn't probably been through extensive T&E. Body armor. Okay, I know that you guys love Safe Life Defense. You guys love body armor from China. You guys love the stiffness of the Safe Life Defense vest. Okay, has that went through T&E? Has patrol officers for law enforcement agencies, have they, like, what's their opinions on that? What are they buying right now? So that's a good question that you guys want to ask. Talking to some subscribers here, that's like the most uncomfortable body armor that they have worn. To others, it's the best body armor that they ever worn, but that's the only body armor that they've ever purchased. Okay, see what they're using, guys. Okay, and if you don't know, ask. You see a police officer down the street, a deputy sheriff, like, hey, just wonder what kind of body armor you have. Now, you might get the paranoid guy. Can't tell you, it's a secret. Oh well, just go to another officer that's willing to open that bridge of communication. All right, guys, there's like quite a bit of subscribers watching right now, so let me just go through it real quick. Professor Security Journal says, low light. Dang, I wish I was a student in that class. I wish we can have you one of these days for sure, Mike. Mr. Fusion says, so were you able to get enough holsters in time, or are you still searching? I'm still searching for the holsters. Thank you, Mike. 509 MRD Alley. I still need to buy that gun. Still need to buy it just so I can test it out. James Reynolds says, what is the best quality uniform, shirt and pants? 511 Blower. I go with Blower. I don't know. It's a personal decision. But guys, see what they're purchasing. What law enforcement agencies purchasing. Type in on Google purchase orders for 511 uniform. And then all these agencies should pop up, or contract procurement for Blower uniforms. If, let's just say, Miami-Dade Police Department, if they are issued the Blower uniforms, they had a mass contract, maybe they're picking up $500,000 worth of that uniform, there's probably been some T&E. And Mike says, that depends on the question you should be asking first. What does your employer say? Any restrictions, as in you wear what you're issued? Thank you. Thank you for mentioning that. Mike says, home defense or duty equals enclosed optics. I want to rack off my optic without worry. That's red dots. Again, that's a topic of a whole new story, but buy quality optics. Jesse says, yes and no. You can use police equipment or base knowledge. When you've grown, you can get different gears to fit your needs. 20% of the gear I'm using is Elio's. Another 20 is military. 60 is all me. Mike says, what, Sean? No love for ASP. Stick to brands that are proven for sure. Eyebrows, Handcuff, Warehouse, and stick to their brands. Safe Life. Jack Spade says, feel like military are saying, why are you guys copying us looking at police? Mr. Fusion says, that's kind of weird to ask. Think about it. If someone went up to you in the street and asked, hey, what type of body armor you wear? You got to open up that bridge of communication. You gotta do intelligently. I mean, just don't pop up, run out of your patrol car and say, "Hey, what kind of body armor you're wearing?" No, like, hey, form a bond, a report with your local law enforcement agency. Hey, how you doing today? Good. All right, you need me, I'll be here. And the next conversation, hey, how you doing today? Is it busy? Just find something to talk about, and then like week 4, talk about body armor. The profession, Brad says, I don't have any LE or military experience, but I want to become an armed security. Got any advice? I've been gunsmithing and shooting for about 10 years, so I'm very excited with firearms. Oh, that's awesome. We'll have to do a video on that one for sure. I'll screenshot that for you, Brad. So if I screenshot it, that means maybe I'll do a video. Uh-oh. Sean pressed the wrong button again. Mr. Fusion. Oh, wait. No, Jack said, make a vest of no keyphones. The best body armor. Mr. Fusion says, I don't know, Sean. Depends how well trained they are. It's weird to see someone wearing tactical state officer while whipping out a baton and having 4 handcuffs on in some weird stance. Oh man, you guys are funny, man. That's another thing about the handcuffs. No, about batons, guys. I hate ass batons. I know that you guys have them. Every time I seen an ass deployed where I work at, it hasn't been effective. I got to show you guys my baton. One hit. Look, by the 3rd hit, they're done. Usually by the 1st hit, they're like, hell no. Actually, a subscriber, I'll show it to you guys pretty soon. He gave me a baton from the Koga Institute as a gift, and I really appreciate that. I want to show you guys that baton, but that's a fight stopper with 1 hit. Usually 1 hit, no more than 3. Guys, stop buying these $5 or $10, $20, $50 cheap collapsible batons on Amazon or eBay. They're not going to work when you need it to work. They're going to collapse once you hit your first person. Don't buy that stuff, guys. I'm going to agree with Mike from the Professional Security Journal. He's done a lot of reviews, not reviews, but a lot of talk about the Peacekeeper RCB. I've held that in my hand, and I feel really confident that is definitely that's a fight stopper, guys. I mean, that thing hits very hard. I haven't used it in a real life situation, and if I did, I'd probably be a little bit reserved on what I say on camera. But oh man, that baton, that can definitely stop the fight. Okay. Again, what law enforcement agencies are using the RCB baton, and there's a lot. Again, Google procurement, Google contracts for RCB baton, police department or sheriff's department. You got to be really selective on what you type in Google, and a lot of the procurements and contracts should populate. Okay, so that's how you find your equipment, guys. What else? Pens, okay? Pens are a thing in law enforcement, and security. Like, you got to have the right pen. There's a lot of pens out there suck. I buy this like aircraft or space pen, where I can write upside down. No, I'm not writing upside down in my line of work, but sometimes I'll put a notepad to like a wall or something like that, or I'll change elevation, and then I can't get the ink out. So see what law enforcement are using out there. There's always like a gadget guy you'll see, and ask, okay, what works for them and what doesn't. Now, on the flip side of this, you got to be really careful on copying law enforcement. Perfect example. So last night, I'm developing the Red Dot Transition course. It's an 8-hour course. I'm going to have to do 6 of them this year. I think 5. And then I'm going to be doing the California Post Red Dot Instructor course. I'm actually teaching it. It's a train the trainer course, and I'm developing my PowerPoint. We have adopted the Holosun 508T, which is a red dot reticle with a 2.0 dot MOA. You could transition to a 32 MOA circle, or you can have the 2 MOA dot right in the middle of the 32 MOA reticle. It's really difficult to describe on camera unless you're a gun guy. What that basically means, a 2 MOA, for the non-technical guys, at 100 yards, 2 inches of your target will be covered with that red dot right on your pistol mounted optic. At 100 yards, the 32 MOA circle will cover 32 inches of your target, which is probably at 100 yards beyond the whole body. So that's what I'm referring to that. That optic has went through extensive testing. I think, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department allows that reticle. So Holosun is located in the city of Industry. I know right now I got some people saying Chinese optics, Holosun. No, let me finish. So Holosun is located in the city of Industry, California. And the LA County Sheriff's Department, that has like they're the largest sheriff's department, I think, in the world. They have like 9,000 deputies. That's an authorized optic, the 508, the 508T series. San Jose, California Police Department, I think that they have, oh my goodness, I might be mixing them up. I think they might have 1,000 officers or 900. They probably have a full-time firearms cadre. That's an authorized optic. Aaron Cowan from Sage Dynamics, I believe he is a law enforcement officer. He wrote the Sage Dynamics miniaturized red dot white paper. It's on the 7th edition. Out of 11,000 students, or a sample size of 11,000, only 4 have reported failures. So that's, he has like over 11,000 students and instructors who are committed to him, to reporting any failures, and they've only reported 4, and that's the automatic brightness setting that during a transition from low light to maybe sunlight, there's issues transferring. I'm sorry, the red dot did not adjust appropriately. 4 issues only. That is less issues than the RMR, guys. And so far, Aaron Cowan has that optic mounted on one of his test pistols. It's went through 12,200 rounds, and there's no optical failure at all. So with our department, I chose that as a backup optic in case the RMR HDs, they're not working out, or somebody's optic breaks and then it needs to go back to the manufacturer. That's the backup. Also, it has a lower profile. The housing profile is lower, so it's more ideal for police officers who are working undercover. So most likely that optic is going to be I'm going to mount that on the Glock 19s. And it's also more budget friendly. You're looking at maybe about $400 cost, $350. I think we got a deal, and that's compared to the the RMR HD that cost about $650. So that's, again, that's an optic that I did some research on, that has been heavily tested on. Do I want that as my primary optic? No, I don't want it as a primary optic. The reason why I was involved in choosing the optics. I chose 2 primary optics for our department. It's the Acro P2, thanks to Randy from Global Veterans suggesting that optic, and he did not suggest the RMR HD. Aaron Cowan did his torture test, his extensive testing on that, and no failures yet. that has the same footprint and similar structure to the the regular RMR, which survived a lot of rural testing, and it's adopted all over the United States as a primary optic. You put two and two together. I'm sorry. There's also a popular optic, the SRO, that's used for competitions, not rated for duty purposes. If the SRO and the RMR had a baby, they would create the RMR HD. So those are those are some of the reasons why I chose that optic. What the hell? Also, what was I going to say? Oh, so the FBI got a procurement of the HMR HDs, and their purchase order is $4 million. $4 million. So FBI has an extensive full-time firearms training cadre at, I think it's Atlantic Cove, Virginia. They've done extensive testing on that optic, which was released in 2023. It's really hard to get a hold of. Hey, FBI full-time firearm instructors adopted that optic. That's our optic. So those are the two primary optics, with the Holosun 508T being a backup optic, and being the primary optic for officers who are working in UC assignments, undercover assignments, where concealability matters. Again, the housing profile is significantly smaller. Now, there are some drawbacks, guys, for copying law enforcement. So the 508T series of Holosun, I wish I had one. I have it in the office right now. It was adopted by the Redding, California Police Department. They have over 100 officers, I think. And that's the issued optic. The problem I have is you're only allowed at that department to carry two optics per the policy. The 508T, which is issued, or the 509T series, which is very similar, which has, I think, a 32 MOA or 55 MOA circle surrounding the 2 MOA reticle. You cannot buy a Trigicon RMR HD that has been extensively tested by the FBI, where they put a $4 million procurement purchase for that. You cannot buy the RMR, which has been extensively tested by hundreds of law enforcement agencies. You have to get stuck with the Chinese optic. And I'm not saying that there's anything bad about the Holosun because they're Chinese. I'm just saying, like, why is a Chinese optic the only optic that you can carry at the Redding Police Department? It does not make sense. There's the Acro P2, which is a reliable. It has passed extensive testing, yet their officers can only carry Holosun, and there's only 2 models. I got a huge problem with that. You probably have a lack. You probably have a lack of a budget, or number 2, a lack of experience with the firearm instructor cadre. And I would think that you have a cadre that probably has. They probably do more than part-time with a 100-officer department. Maybe 3/4 of the time, half of the time, but no. So if you are a security officer in the Redding, California area, and you're looking for optic, and the beat officer has the Holosun 508T, just don't say, hey, you know what, that officer has it, I should get it too. There's always disadvantages to replicating what law enforcement has. Okay, again, you have a firearm instructor or cadre, or even a chief of police, maybe watched a YouTube video and said, oh, we're going to pick that optic. Honestly, if you got I can easily see a competent firearm cadre say, hey, chief, this optic sucks. Or, hey, this optic is not a first place winner, maybe a 4th place winner. We want our officers with the best optic. I know we can only afford the 508T series, but can you at least leave it open that the officers can purchase the RMR series or RMR HD series or the Acro 2? At least that, right? That would make more sense. So I'm thinking it's probably a chief decision. But anyhow, if you guys know anybody at Redding Police Department, send me an email. I want to know what the hell happened right there. Okay. 40 caliber. Dun dun dun. The 40 caliber. Okay, the FBI, after it was the Miami shooting, where 9mm were not effective. They went to 10mm. It was too much, so now they went to 40 caliber. This was probably in the mid 2000s, maybe 2010s. A lot of agencies went to the 40 caliber, particularly the Glock 22. In my opinion, that gun is the worst handgun ever manufactured, the Gen 3 series. Okay, there's no Gen 2 Glock 40. So Gen 3 and up, that's the worst handgun. It's the most snappiest pistol. I took the armor's class in January. The armorer himself said that when he worked in warranty, because as an instructor, you have to do your rounds, and one of his rounds was being assigned to the warranty section. He said that there's a pile of Glock 22 40 calibers that needed work. And basically, when the 40 caliber craze became a thing, Glock, they just jumped into it as fast as they can because they didn't want to lose the market. They got their Glock 17 and designed it to accommodate, which is a 9mm. They designed it to accommodate the 40 caliber, which created all kinds of issues within the Glock 22 profile. Replacement part after replacement part. Again, there's been instances of the frame cracking because of the earlier models, though. There's been instances of the frame cracking because of the high pressurized cartridge. A 40 caliber is a high pressurized cartridge. And then you don't want to shoot it. I've taken a 1,000-round course, and then after 500 rounds, I'm thinking, like, I don't want to keep shooting this because the trigger just like numbs away or cuts away on my trigger finger. Again, it's snappy as hell. New shooters hate it. So the police academy where I teach at, we transitioned to the Glock 17s. The accuracy rate, the rate of passing that actually jumped. And why is that? Because people want to shoot it. They want to go out and practice the Glock 17. Again, the Glock 40 snappy pistol. I know some of you guys swear by it. I hate that gun. I just can't wait until we finally complete the transition to the Glock 47s and 45s. Again, which is basically your Glock 17s, or your Glock 45 is your Glock 19 slide with your Glock 17 grip, for those of you who are Glock fanboys. Okay. So that's a case where you don't want to copy law enforcement. Again, 40 caliber, I'm gonna irritate a lot of people, but not a fan. I am not a fan of the 40 caliber. Okay, so that's all I got, guys and gals. I know I missed a bunch of other products. Oh, the bolo wrap. That was a complete mess. I know a local law enforcement agency that used it in real life situations, and it didn't even wrap. It works if somebody is standing still. They're not moving, and they're saying, I give up. But that case, can't you just handcuff them if they're not resistive? Topic of another story. All right, guys, I'm out. Looking forward to your comments. Take care.